No doubt. So let's go to one person who's just on the outside. I see the chat is already talking about Big Sean. So Big Sean just had a interview with Charlemagne the God. Shout out to Charlemagne, Monk's Corner, all the Geechees out there in Charleston, where he's from.
He's,
Geechee land down there. Shout out to Charlemagne for
I'm
sure.
aware. I'm
I
aware.
thought this was a really good interview. They talked a lot of things, mental health, co-parenting, all of these different things that Big Sean deals with, just from his thought process and how he views himself as not just a rapper, but also the reality of not being mentioned in the top three or in that big three and be right on the outside, but also having the ability to go toe to toe with anyone in the big three. And he knows that. And he even said like that he won't smoke. He's ready to give smoke to anyone, including Kendrick. Want to get you guys' reaction on that. What do you guys thought about the interview? I thought it was dope. So what you guys think about it?
Um, usually I don't. Usually I don't like Charlemagne interviews because he's always going to try to relate it back to himself and mental health and all that stuff, and like him writing a book and all that stuff. But for this time, it was appropriate, right? Because we know that Sean's been through some stuff, and him having that mental health talk with Sean was something that I feel like was genuine and appropriate instead of him randomly doing it like he usually does. But I digress. But I think that it was a very emotional interview. I think Sean was very candid. I'm a big Sean fan. I like how he said what he said, like what big three or whatever, you know what I mean? Because he feels like whether it's a big three, big four, what have you, I'm in that conversation. I can rap with these guys at any point. But he was very honest at the same time about his work ethic. He's like, the only thing keeping me out of that conversation is I haven't been releasing music regularly. So for him to still feel like, he's right there with them skill wise, but be honest about, his own work ethic. And I see Coop face palming because that comes back to his Kendrick point about not dropping nothing in so many years. But I liked how, he was honest about that. Now, the one thing I didn't like about the interview, and then I'll pass it to somebody else, was when he was talking about, the smoke back and forth with Kendrick, which, Charlemagne was going to get him to talk about that. But the showing of the text messages and that sort of thing, which he didn't air them out because he said that's corny. I don't want to, read them live, but he showed them to Charlemagne. But I think even if Kendrick did, quote unquote, apologize and everything was peace, now that you brought that to the forefront of the interview and said like, yo, he apologized to me and it wasn't no smoke, I think somebody like Kendrick still doesn't take kindly to that. So I would keep your eye out for, because I think you're going to get, if Kendrick drops something, I think it'll be a shot there, because I don't know if he takes kindly to like them, looking at the text messages on camera and him confirming Charlemagne like, yeah, you're right. He apologized to you. If I'm Kendrick, then, you might feel a way about it.
Hey, Sean, I'm going to kick it to you in 1 second, but AG, I got one question before we kick it to Sean to get his thoughts on this.
Mm-hmm.
So, so here's the thing. So what if he like apologized? Like, do you think that, first of all, Big Sean can actually beat Kendrick in a battle? And do you think that Big Sean actually is doing this because maybe he needs a beef?
No, I think Sean was genuine. I think he says, like, to my fans that keep begging me to respond, that was an old leaked track. He didn't put it out officially. He apologized. It's no problem there.
That's not what I asked.
But if it was, like, do I think he can go toe to toe with Kendrick? Yes, I do. Number one, I'm a big Sean fan. But two, I know how sensitive all rappers are. That's why I said, if Kendrick is seeing that interview, keep your eyes open, because I do think we get an updated Big Sean shot, and then we'll get a Big Sean retaliation, and then we'll have a Kendrick Big Sean battle down the road, because I think that Kendrick will have something to say about them analyzing his text over the interview.
Well, hold on. Okay, Sean, I promise we're gonna get to you, but hold on, AG. One more question. If you was in Kendrick's shoes and some nigga was showing another nigga texts about you apologizing, would you take kindly to it?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Keep your ears open for the next Kendrick thing that drop. I'm pretty much guaranteeing it's going to be something about Sean in those bars.
I be trying to tell people it's like I don't know how whoever gets down. I'm a grown ass man first.
But I think Sean kind of felt like in that moment he had to prove that, like,
got defensive.
Yeah. Like, no, yeah, my fans acted like I'm ducking smoke, but I'm gonna show you where homie apologized to me on some. But he said that was then. He said we don't talk now.
But what I'm saying is that still felt intentional, like he intended to stir
100%, 100%.
Stir that pot. That's why I was asking. Do you feel like he needs like a rap beef right now? Maybe in his camp's opinion. Maybe that's like you got publicists and HR and like people like not HR PR. You got people like that actually like will be like, hey, like this is what's cracking right now.
Sean's tired. Sean's tired of being in the shadows, and I thought it was interesting because I never heard this angle of the story. But when he was talking about like that stepping on his freestyle and his album rollout and all this stuff, and then even go back to Control. Kendrick still in the limelight on that. And then Sean was like, but it was me who put that song out. It was me. And then he said that the reason why it never came out on the album is because TDE didn't sign off on it. And that's why I didn't really, and I never heard that part of the story before because it caused so much commotion.
I think at the end of the day, that's just industry politics. That has more to do with the stature of the artist impacting it. Sean, like, what are your thoughts on this Sean interview and like, impending material thoughts, place stature in the game? Let's hear Sean talk about Sean.
Sean on Sean, pause.
Sean on Sean, pause.
I tried not to say that. You niggas both said it back anyway. Y'all this is the most inappropriate hip hop podcast.
It is very inappropriate. And it's
mostly you.
I'm very professional.
You opened up a honey pack at the end of a show 2 shows ago.
That was desperate. I ain't gonna lie. It didn't work.
Cool. I said, see, no matter your position or your stature, you can be desperate sometimes. I said it.
That's right.
No, I knew Sean was desperate. He's just not supposed to show it on camera.
I'm 44. I had to do it then because you got to be like 20 or 25
he said
minutes.
I had to do it then. It's not an excavation. You're not looking. Yeah. You're not looking for tunes in Egypt.
You got to hit the bloodstream, man. So you got to get about 20, 25 minutes in. You can't go up there premature thinking you're about to go crazy.
Sean, I asked you to talk about
quick.
I asked you to talk about Big Sean, not
Sean. Hit the bloodstream. It's
like,
crazy.
Okay, we might have to just keep the next topic. And Paul,
my thing with Big Sean is this, man. If I'm Big Sean, look at it like this. I'm on tracks with Eminem. So Eminem co-signs me. He represents me. He represents me very well. Talks highly of my skills. M just don't drop on tracks with anybody that can rap.
From Detroit. They're from Detroit, Sean. I don't know if I can get that.
That's true. But still, M is not going to hop on with anybody that doesn't have a little bit of skill.
And
not only that, when they're on tracks together, it's not like M is all the way over here and Big Sean is over here. He's right there neck.
No, Sean's performances have been great with him.
And don't stop at Eminem. Talk about Nas, Jay, Kanye, Drake, Kendrick, all of them.
Who's who? He's been on tracks with these guys, and he was not smoke. He held his own, regardless of what we want to say about his voice, his cadence, whatever the case may be. When it came to bar work, he was barring up with some of the best. So he has every right to feel the way he feels. I think the thing that hurt Sean is the fact that, and I think Jack mentioned that he doesn't have a strong crew around him to back him up. When he had that with Ye and that crew, when he was doing all of those things, it was ghostwriting. He was bringing ideas to that crew, and they were thriving, and they kind of left them out to dry. You know what I mean? That entire crew kind of dismantled, and Big Sean, I think, was one of the ones who took the brunt of that dismantle, because 2 Chainz still 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz still smoking guest features. Pusha is still Pusha, right?
Yes.
Kanye's still who he is, whether he's out there or not.
He's a shade of who he used to be.
He is. He very much so is. But he still he moves the algorithm needle.
Oh yeah,
Big,
yeah, it's yay. It's
Big
yay.
Sean move it. Big Sean doesn't move the
Okay.
algorithm.
So are you saying that Sean doesn't have an identity right now?
Bingo.
No, see, okay, so here's the problem. The problem is that he doesn't have an identity now. The problem is that he doesn't have an identity now because he never had an identity then. Like originally.
Explain some
like,
more, Coop.
like he's like how about this? He's the young guy in the crew. He's like Tayshaun Prince on like the 2004 Pistons. It's like he's part of a championship team, but he's not the driving force behind the championship team because it's like you got G Wallace, you got Ben Wallace, you got Chauncey Billups, you got Rip Hamilton. Like you're the fifth guy in the starting lineup of actually an all-time great top. Actually, that's an all-time great starting lineup if you actually like think about it. Like just like fundamentally speaking, in basketball terms, it's an all-time great starting lineup. And so I feel like that's kind of happened to Sean, where it's like, no, like he's just the fifth best player in a championship era, so he's gonna get some of the same treatment.
Right.
No, this is gonna seem like a strange analogy because they couldn't be any more different as MC, but he's gonna get a lot of Cool G rap treatment because of that.
Yes. Good
He's gonna
point.
get a lot of Cool
That's
G.
a hell of an analogy, Coop.
Yeah.
He's gonna get a lot of Cool G rap treatment because it's like, well, you got Rod and Kane.
Yeah.
I'm with you. But people swear by G-Rap, though. Like I said, I'm a Sean fan.
Right, but the people who swear by him, because I swear by G-Rap.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like the way you swear by Sean is the way I swear by G-Rap. And it's like, no, but when you start getting down and going to the albums, because even when you like go listen to him, it's like on the symphony, like him and Kane is like neck and neck. That's Prime Kane.
Absolutely.
Prime Kane is as good as it gets, guys.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Prime Kane is as good as it gets, right?
But this is Sean's point. It's his contemporaries that swear by him instead of the fans.
Yes. You know why? Remember on Django when old boy said you need to have panache.
Yeah.
Panache. He doesn't have panache. He doesn't, like Jarvis said in the chat, he doesn't have that charisma. Because you don't you don't like him, you don't really care for him. Like you're not, it's like in between, right? I don't want to go too crazy with this, but one thing that I told Coop about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I said, man, what make A2HH work is the fact that a lot of people don't like Coop, but a lot of people love Coop. Right?
No, he did. He told me that.
I told him
that. Like, who the fuck is this nigga? But that's
cool. But I was like, I said, Mike is nice. So a lot of people like niceness and like that dormant guy. And I mean no disrespect at all.
No, what you're saying.
There is an identity that it can identify themselves with. I don't think the fan base can identify themselves with Sean either way.
Ooh.
Nah, y'all are cooking. You know what I'm saying? You're doing the psychoanalysis on Sean. But nah, y'all right. And then the Cool G rap comparison was spot on.
Right. You can't. What kind of emotion you have behind Sean? We don't get emotionally driven by Sean. If somebody says Nas is not the GOAT, we go crazy.
Like think about this. LL Cool J is your star.
Yeah.
Rakim is your lyricist. KRS-One is your teacher. Kane is your all around. Slick Rick is your storyteller. Cool G Rap is street guy, because all these guys are saying street shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you're the street guy, you know all the other guys are from the streets and they're saying street shit too.
Yeah, the identity is.
Except for they created kind of a lane outside of the street shit while still talking the street shit.
Yeah, the identity is not as clear. I got a question for both of y'all, right? Because we talked about how in-depth this interview was, and it was candid and it was really good. Do you feel like where the problem lies is that we got more from this interview out of Sean as a person than any of his music?
Damn, I know you was gonna go that way.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
Absolutely. How about this? The problem in the gap in his identifiability, like for us, might be in the fact that you have people that the words that they speak in real life and how they actually behave in real life is actually nothing like who they are on the mic, to their detriment. Because it's like, I didn't really know that guy when I was watching the interview. I was like, who the fuck is this?
Bingo.
But then I thought about it. It's like, When have I sat down and watched the Big Sean interview like for this like long? You know what I'm saying?
Right. We get
Right.
more out of the interview than the music. But do you think is that
Matter of
what
fact, when's the
I'm
last
more
time you did an
entertained.
interview like this?
Yes.
facts?
I'm more
But
entertained by the interview.
but is that what Tyler, the creator, was saying to him? Because it sounded like Sean wasn't even clear on what Tyler was trying to say. He said rapping is your biggest superpower, but it's also, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, the worst thing about you, or so I'm paraphrasing, but you know, I think he was speaking to his ability to just, you know, rap and bars and bars and bars, but we're not getting enough of him. Pause.
It's his way of saying if you would connect all of the dots, you would be a bigger star
Mm-hmm.
in this sky, and it would translate to other things for you. And those other things, I think that exist is the person that we actually saw in the interview.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
did you find yourself actually saying it's like, yo, this is like a highly intelligent, like
You're
articulate,
immersed. You're immersed.
thoughtful,
Right.
well
Right.
spoken, calculated like in a natural manner, not like in a devious or nefarious manner. Like he struck you as somebody that you actually would find like interesting.
Right.
And it's like that's what we've been asking for. Actually, it's like where's the interest? Like you know what I'm saying?
In the music. Where
Yeah,
it comes
where's
from.
that guy? Where is that guy on record? And listen to what I'm saying because people do it. No. The key to music is you got to make it work, as in we have to be able to relate to it. So you might be doing a good job fundamentally, but the intangible part is the connection. We got to feel connected to.
Do we get that on this album that he just pushed back? Do you think
I hope
that
so.
version of him is going to be on this album?
I hope so.
I
He
hope
has
so.
good. He has good projects, but he doesn't. That's another thing too. Like when we talk about J. Cole's catalog, it's like in question some things.
It's far
Like,
better than Sean's.
Yeah.
and so that's a lot about his placement too. So it's like on a good day, he's fourth place in catalog, where the guy in third place gets ostracized more than he does for his catalog.
Absolutely.
Think about it. The guy ahead of you gets ostracized for his catalog more than you do, but part of that is because like you lay low. As far as this generation is concerned, his ceiling is probably 4. And then there are people that tell you that they prefer ASAP Rocky. I would probably take ASAP Rocky. You know what I'm saying? And so he might
I
be
wouldn't,
5th.
but I'm not mad at that.
I mean, just because I go on some rap shit. You know what I'm
Some
saying?
people would say Wale. I don't see it, but some people would put Wale.
No, Wale's not top 5 in this generation. Like,
Yeah, I agree with that. He's
like,
not.
No, I mean he had an opportunity and like that.
Yeah.
This,
But now y'all are spitting, man, for real.